In this video, we explore the Richmond Aqueduct ruins in Montezuma's Heritage Park and visit the Women's Rights National Historical Park in beautiful Seneca Falls. In August 2025, I embarked on an unforgettable end-to-end journey along the Erie Canalway Trail, accompanied by 5 friends. Our adventure began with a scenic Amtrak ride from Albany to Buffalo, where we set off on our bikes to traverse the entire 360-mile trail back to Albany. Along the way, we explored some incredible detours, including the awe-inspiring Niagara Falls and the historic charm of Seneca Falls. It was a journey filled with breathtaking landscapes, rich history, and lifelong memories. We started our journey in Buffalo, taking our first detour on day 1 to Niagara Falls and staying in a commercial campground. Continuing east, we camped along the canal in Middleport and at Lock 33 in Rochester. Next, we stayed 2 nights at a commercial campground in Montezuma and took a short side trip to Seneca Falls on our day off. Well rested, we headed to Green Lake State Park in Fayetteville. Our last night of camping was at Lock 20 in Marcy. After our longest day of riding, we stayed at a hotel in Amsterdam. On our final day, we pedaled to Albany in the rain and celebrated our accomplishment at an Airbnb. This was our rest day. Chance to sleep in, ride a few miles, best of all, skip the usual routine of packing up tents and hauling gear. We were staying in the same campground for 2 nights, so none of that was on the agenda for today. Just before 8 a.m., I was the first to set out. The campground still quiet, the air cool and calm. I wanted to catch the golden morning light on the old Richmond Aqueduct and wander among the canal ruins at Montezuma Heritage Park. The Montezuma Heritage Park spans 165 acres of parkland acquired by the town of Montezuma in the 1960s. A network of nature trails winds through the area, linking interpretive sites that showcases the history of the Erie and Cayuga-Seneca canals. The Cayuga-Seneca Canal, which opened in 1828, was a 20-mile waterway extending navigation from the Erie Canal to its namesake Finger Lakes. Lock 11 at Montezuma marked the gateway where the Cayuga-Seneca Canal connected with the Erie Canal. Before the canal's completion in 1856, boats traveled directly along the Seneca River to reach the lakes without the aid of a channel canal or mule towpath. Lock 11 was abandoned in 1917 when both the Erie and the Cayuga-Seneca Falls were enlarged and realigned as part of the New York State Barge Canal system. So today is our rest day, actually laundry day. Got out of camp a little bit earlier than the rest of the team. I want to hit the laundromat, and today we're gonna hit the Women's Rights National Historical Park. I think that's it. In the meantime, we're coming over here to check out Richmond Viaduct, which is located in Montezuma's Heritage Park. It's a beautiful morning. Temperature is just hitting 70 now. It was about 60 when we got up. We're staying at Hedgemata Campground for 2 days. So we got in last night and we get to ride around today with a lot less weight than we have been. Lock 62 served as both a guard lock and a traditional step lock. On its west end, it lowered boats to the level of the Seneca River, where they would continue their journey along the river while mules and their drivers crossed on a 1,400-foot wooden bridge. Construction of the Richmond Aqueduct began in 1849 and was completed in 1857. It replaced a stretch of slackwater where, on the original Clinton's ditch, boats once crossed the river while mules and their drivers made their way over a wooden bridge. Stretching nearly 900 feet, it was the second longest aqueduct on the enlarged Erie Canal, built with 31 stone arches, each 11 feet high and 22 feet wide. In 1917, the center arches were removed to make way for the newly constructed New York State Barge Canal. Today, only 7 arches remain on the east side and 3 on the west, standing as weathered monuments to the canal's engineering past. The aqueduct was named for Van Rensselaer Richmond, a civil engineer from Lyons, New York, who designed this remarkable structure. Before leaving the park, there was one more fascinating site to explore, the former Montezuma Paper Company. In 1906, this small operation experimented with converting harvested cattails from nearby marshes into paper pulp. Uniquely, the mill was built directly along the canal towpath with no road or rail connections. Its supplies and finished paper were transported entirely by canal boat. The venture was short-lived, operating only a few years before closing in 1917. On my way to Seneca Falls, I crossed over the Seneca Canal and rode past the Montezuma National Wildlife Refuge. I had planned to stop there on the way back to camp, but that didn't quite work out. As I approached downtown, I took a short detour to explore Academy Square Park, an interesting spot bisected by the Finger Lakes Railroad and home to several memorials. I continued through downtown on my way to the laundromat. The camping facilities were out of service and today was laundry day. I met up with the others here, and once we finished our chores, we headed back into town to visit the Women's Rights National Historical Park. As with any national park site, I recommend starting at the visitor center to get the lay of the land and an overview of the site's history. We spent some time viewing the exhibits and watched the park's introductory film. There were also 2 ranger talks we wanted to catch, the first at the Stanton House and the second back here at the Wesleyan Chapel. We grabbed a quick lunch at the nearby Little Italy Italian restaurant before heading to the Stanton House for our first ranger talk. With a few minutes to spare, we took a short walk down to the water. Fun fact, the original waterfalls in Seneca Falls were lost in 1915 when the Seneca Canal was widened and deepened. The project submerged the falls and created what is now Van Cleef Lake. As folks gathered on the front porch for the ranger talk, I took the opportunity to explore the interior while it was still quiet and empty. Unveiled in 2021, this monument features larger-than-life sculptures of 4 courageous women whose contributions to the suffrage movement are often overlooked: Harriet Tubman, Martha Wright, Sojourner Truth, and Laura Kellogg. The second sculpture, located nearby, captures a pivotal moment in history, the introduction of Susan B. Anthony to Elizabeth Cady Stanton by Amelia Bloomer, right here on the streets of Seneca Falls in 1851. That meeting marked the beginning of a lifelong partnership that would help shape the course of the women's rights movement in America. After the second ranger talk at Wesleyan Chapel, we decided to head back to the campground. It had been a full and inspiring day in Seneca Falls, and the quiet ride back gave us time to reflect on everything we'd seen and learned. We barely scratched the surface of all there is to see and do in Seneca Falls. If you're planning to ride the Erie Canal, be sure to plan an extra day for Seneca Falls. You won't regret it. We arrived back at camp around 5:45 p.m., where I found Tom, our chief mechanic, inspecting Mike's bottom bracket.
You can either get the bearings replaced at a shop, or it'll probably be okay.
Yeah.
For a while.
Looks like Mike has got another bearing problem. We wrapped up the evening with a barbecue dinner at the campground pavilion, the perfect way to end the day. Don't miss the next episode as we pedal 58 miles from Montezuma to Fayetteville. Along the way, we'll explore Port Byron Old Erie Canal Heritage Park, the historic town of Jordan, the Erie Canal Park, and the impressive 9 Mile Creek Aqueduct. We'll also ride through Syracuse, our first big city since Buffalo, before finishing the day at beautiful Green Lake State Park.